Get back! Come on, please, get in there. Get in there.
I love that at the end. Get in there, police. Please do your job. All right, so much for free speech. On college campuses, protesters tore down this conservative group's tent before an event at UC Davis. The group says that the demonstrators also ripped down the banners, smashed their foam boards, and tried to steal a laptop and an iPad from the group. Brandon Tatum was a guest speaker at this event. He is a Turning Point USA contributor. He's a former Tucson police officer who became very popular on social media because of his conservative law and order views, and he has millions of people who follow him. Brandon Tatum, good to have you with us today, sir. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
So the university basically said, look, you know, nobody was hurt. This isn't a big deal. And we do everything we can to protect free speech on campus. Is that true?
That's the biggest lie and sack of crap that I've ever heard in my life. They could not protect us, and they were not given any real effort to thwart these people who came from God knows where. We don't even know if these were students. They were completely masked. They came and assaulted people. They tore up everything. They stole property. And then they not only did it once, they came back twice. So all the police officers had every identifying marker that these people were going to be violent, and they still didn't do anything. And thank God I was there and others who stood up to them, or we would have all been, getting beat up and injured when they are supposed to protect us, and we are allowed or should be allowed to have the freedom of speech on campus.
Yeah, of course. What did you say in the back and forth? And could you tell, were these students, or was this group sent in from somewhere? I know you said that you've spoken a lot of campuses. You've never been part of anything like this before.
Yeah, most campuses, people are peaceful. It clearly was a coordinated group. They were all dressed the same. They had bicycles. They had things to conceal their identity. They came from out of sight. They weren't even on the campus mall where we were at. They came from somewhere else. They came and did their dirt, and then they retreated, never to be seen again. And all of the rest of the students, although some of them were delusional, they still were reasonable, and they did not attack people. So this was a coordinated effort. And the thing that bothers me the most, Martha, is that why did the police officers not do anything?
I know.
It's almost as if I'm the only cop there. They didn't do anything to stop this. They saw them punch people, and they did nothing.
It must be so frustrating for you as a former Tucson police officer when you see these other police officers. And as I said in the intro, when I hear that, the guy who's just standing by, he's like, get in there. Aren't you guys going to do a little something to stop these people from destructing this property? We have a list of all these Ivy League schools, government funding being cut. There's word that Brown University is going to lose $500 million in grants and research money. So UC Davis, do you think they were concerned about this? They put out that statement saying, free speech is super important to us. Like, don't come here.
I don't think they're very concerned about it because they didn't really do nothing about it. We were talking to the administrative people, and we were saying, can you protect us? Are you going to just let these people bludgeon us? And then the police officers, or somebody's telling them to stand down. I mean, they're there, they're ready to go, but they're not going to engage. I asked them specifically, if they come back, are you guys going to use force against them to prevent them from hurting people at this table? I mean, I literally had to tell the police officers, if they come back to the table, I'm going to defend the people who are here. We're not just going to let them beat us up. And they didn't give me a clear answer. They stood there in preparation to do nothing. I guess their visible stature would be a deterrent, which is not really realistic. They have to be able to use force. And there's somebody that's telling them, I don't know if it's the chief, I don't know if it's the university. They're saying, allow people who you cannot identify to come onto campus with weapons and attack people and do nothing about it. They didn't even pursue to arrest anybody. They just watched them do it, and they let them go.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
Yeah, I can see that.
I literally wanted to defend every single person there, but I didn't want to be seen knocking people out on campus.
You can't
That's
have
not what I wanted.
I'm sorry. You can't be educated if you aren't exposed to a lot of different viewpoints. And that is what universities are supposed to protect, free speech on their campuses. And so these people should have, at the very least, been reprimanded. We're glad that nobody was hurt in this situation, but clearly it was destructive of property. And Brandon, thank you very much. Brandon Tatum, good to have you with us today, sir. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.